our spirit. What is it? Where does it go? Are we able to see them using our mind's eye? If so, just what can spirit teach us? Welcome to Schooled Thru Spirit. Host DeEtte Ranae is a certified psychic medium and master teacher of psychic and mediumship development through LWISSD. DeEtte was born knowing spirit and now is here to help you better understand the spirit world. And now your host, DeEtte Ranae.
Everybody, how is everybody doing this beautiful Monday morning? Sorry, I'm in the midst of erasing stuff. This is DeEtte Ranae here, and this on Schooled Thru Spirit with WLTK-DB.com here every Monday morning, where I do start this morning with a small discussion based on something spirit gives me. And then we go on to our guest, and my guest today is Mr. Ray Savino. Oh, I need to get better with names, guys. I need to get better with names. I just all of a sudden looked at my calendar and I was like, oh my God, it's all messed up. I need to straighten this out because that was going to drive me batty. So I apologize. Good morning, Miss Michelle. Good morning from YouTube. I'm going to do a real quick thing here and I'm going to start sharing. No, can't. I almost left the site altogether. Oh, I almost exited my butt all the way out of the show. That would have been interesting. What do you think? As always, I'm going to share everything a little bit everywhere. Just kind of, you know what? They got this all messed up on me. Facebook has moved everything everywhere on me. And I'm like, I don't know where I'm going with anything anymore. So I do want to kind of get in here really quick and say, and just kind of share to the masses. If not, people later on tell me, oh my God, I couldn't find you. And, and I get it. Not everybody goes to the station. I mean, it's where we kind of like everybody to go, but we understand that. So, what we do then is we go that extra mile and we just kind of share it everywhere else. So people can find it and get on there, kind of see what's going on. So that's what I'm doing. So, and this morning, I'll tell you what. First thing I thought to myself this morning was, hey, Spirit, what do you want me to talk about? And I heard crickets. Oh my God, guys, I heard crickets. I was like, oh. So I went to all my normal sources and it was like, no, and no, and no, and no. And I was like, oh my God, Spirit. And I realized right before I came on, I was like, Spirit, you still haven't given me anything. So they literally just told me to pull a card. So I did. And I'm going to talk about the card in a second here. I just need to kind of bring it up and where we're going with everything and what we're doing. My brain is on like slow motion today, guys. It's like one-tracked brain today, and I don't even know why. It's just really one-tracked, which is, not abnormal for me, as you guys know. But today it really seems to be worse. It feels like it's going to be one of those days. And I don't know about you guys, but have you ever had those days where it's like you can multitask like nobody's business. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, no, not multitasking. Today, we're just going to hit this one task at a time instead. And that's where my head is right now today. My head is like one task at a time. And I'm really hoping it's not like that all day long because I got a boatload of stuff to get done. Boatload of stuff. But that being said, I think I got all this down. Where is everybody this morning? I'm back to the normal comments so I can say, hey, how you doing to everybody? But they told me this morning to pull a card. Okay, so I pulled the card. And, I pulled it from the Beyond Lemuria cards. Oh, guys, I bought a new deck. I was thinking about you guys, and I pulled the card. I'm like, I don't need any more decks. I was at the space that I go and do readings for once in a while. And I walked up the wall and I thought, I'm not going to get a new deck. I don't need a new deck. And sure enough, I pull a card. Card just speaks to me right now. Guess who bought a new deck? Although the facility didn't have the deck, they're out of stock, so I bought it through Amazon. Yeah, I'm that person. If I can't get it when I want it, I'm going to buy it through Amazon and get it in 2 days. And that's what I did. But it's the Moonology deck. So that's supposed to be here, I believe, tomorrow. So maybe we'll use that next week. Oh, Tara and Jody are together. Yay! Awesome. Hi, guys. Um, good morning to both of you. Okay, so I want to talk about the card I pulled today. And to me, it was like, holy crap. And that was one thing I did get from Spirit this morning is that we are literally in, I literally wanted to kind of come in. First thing I heard from them was, I need to ask, have you guys done your homework? Are you on this journey? Are you figuring things out? Are you looking deeper? Are you getting rid of that crap that no longer serves you? You know, are you just kind of getting through all that wonderful stuff? Good morning, Miss Erin. You know, and that was the first thing. And it really was fleeting. It was in and out. So then I pulled the card, and it's an Earth Star Chakra Initiation card. Isn't that gorgeous? Isn't that all these cards are gorgeous. It says you are standing at a gateway into the unknown with trust in your heart, ancient remembering in your soul, and excuse me, inner illumination to light the way. You have access to the seed of creation, the spark of existence, the codes that hold the blueprints of who and what we are. This place is clear and grounded, despite moving through multidimensional realms and able to bridge worlds while functioning in physical reality. The higher you reach for the divine and the realms of spirit, the more important it is to anchor deeply to the earth. Good morning, Stephanie. Good morning, Kevin. And I'll tell you what, I thought that card made so much sense. And all of a sudden, when when I got that first fleeting thought, oh my God, I got to get comfortable, guys. When I got that first fleeting thought to ask, oh my gosh, have you guys done your homework? Did you kind of look at those things that really weren't serving you anymore and kind of getting rid of them? And we had a fabulous discussion last week about a lot of that. And really over the last few weeks, if you think about it, every week is really built on the next week. It's strange how spirit does that. But this week was kind of like when I pulled the card, it was the why. Why are we doing this? Why do we go through this hell called earth? I mean, come on, guys. You know, this place is magical, it's mystical, it's marvelous, it's all of that, but it's also crap. It's hard. It's just heavy. It's so much, and it's like, gosh, and I will tell you what, the question that just runs through my head, and I think a lot of people out there think about this is, you know what, if heaven is so amazing, if the afterlife is so awesome, and oh my gosh, everything's about love and it's pain-free and there's no stress and there's no ego, why the hell would we choose to come here? Good morning, Lori. Why the hell would we, why would we come here? Why would we go through the crap that we go through? Why? And then once we're here, why do you come on and listen to me every week and says, dig into your shit, dig into your crap, clean out your closets, clean out your life, and then it's like, gosh, and we do that. And sometimes while we're going, and I'm not sometimes, most of the time when we're going through this, it's, oh my God, life just gets difficult, doesn't it? I mean, it gets difficult. It gets hard to do all this. But nobody ever says why. Why? Now, as I've told you guys, and I've explained it before, but I think this card explains it even better. When we're souls, it's all about divine love. It's all about beauty and love, unconditional, ever forgiving, nothing to forgive, amazing, amazing love. And it's wow. But that's all the soul has. Now, when we're sitting on this side, we're going, oh my God, I would love to have that. I would love to live in a world, because that's what we always strive for, don't we? We always, when you ask people if they have an inner wish, what do most people say? A world free of violence, a world of peace, a world that love it's just love. I mean, the list is endless. But rarely do you ever hear somebody pop up unless Marilyn Manson shows up to the party. Rarely do you have anybody to say, I want crap. We all want a place there's no disease and no this and no that. And it's so we can live in peace and harmony. Yes. But that's what we want while we're here. And I think the reason we want it is because the soul knows it. But the soul understands it's got to come here. It's got to get into this body. It's got to go through all of the hell, all, and I'm going to say hell because we look at it as hell. It's the soul doesn't look at it that way. We do. We do once it gets into the body. We start looking at things as this is hell and this is hard and this is traumatic and rightfully so. It is hard and it can be traumatic. But the soul looks at it and just goes, you know what? This is what I need to learn, to understand, to grow, to get closer to the divine. Makes sense? The soul has to go through this, and it has to go through things repeatedly. I mean, that's why we have past lives. That's why we have that reincarnation. That's why all of that exists so that the soul can have multiple opportunities to come and learn multiple of different things. And that's pretty incredible. I love how that system is defined, to do that. And so many people, I hear this from so many people. This is my last, I'm not doing this anymore, blah, 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 blah. I know this is my last go around, blah, 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 blah. And I put that, and I always, excuse me, I got something stuck in my throat. I always kind of chuckle inside to myself on that one. And I do. Why? Because when we get back, now, one major thing, if you're in the shit and you have not gotten to a point in life where, you know what, life is just back to being magical and you understand it all, you get it, you understand it, and you're a source of divine for people here, aka Mother Teresa, Wayne Dyer, possibly a Louise Hay, people of this stat, Dalai Lama. And of course, the Dalai Lama keeps coming back, but we can't put him in there. But unless you're a person like that, Deepak Chakra, you're more than likely coming back again. Why? Because your soul hasn't gotten to that point where you understand it all. And you're ready to level up. You're ready just to jump up on that boop, 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 all the way to the top. Because that's what happens when you get through this lifetime and you learn it all and you experience everything. That's when your soul doesn't want to come back. And it's not, it doesn't have to come back. It doesn't want to come back. It doesn't need to. There's no reason for it. And that's really simple, isn't it? It's really simple. And trust me, when we get back, no matter how hard this lifetime is, when we get back and we go through and we kind of debrief it all, and we get all these beautiful aha moments going on, so many aha moments. It's incredible that the soul goes, wow, but I missed this lesson, or I missed this experience, or boy, I didn't get in the line for that one. I want to go back again. I want to learn something more. And the next lifetime might be created easier. Excuse me. I mean, I'm speaking a lot. I'm pushing through a lot here, I guess, because I'm kind of irpy with this, and I'm always a person throat chakra of things are getting up and things are moving. I'm releasing is what I'm doing, and maybe I'm trying to understand some of this myself. But when you go through this, your soul just decides to come back. Good morning. Is that Tim or is that Deidre, or who is the last person that said good morning, DeEtte? I need to just pop up on the Facebook group and see that. Anyway, so, and I hope that makes sense to everybody. I hope that makes sense to everybody because it really is, it is an initiation. It is a, wow, I get to do this again. Wow, this is incredible. Wow, you know what I mean? Oh, good morning, good morning, good morning. Oh my God, who is it? It's not showing anywhere who the good morning is. Unless it's Kevin. It might be Kevin. I'm not sure. Nope, I got Kevin there. I don't know who that is. So that's really where the initiation is. And that's the beginning of this card, isn't it? This is the why. This is the why. Because if I break this down, it's that, you are always standing at this, we're running through this life and we never know, do we? We never know. We just try to do better. We try to understand. We try to get through it. And sometimes it's small, and sometimes when you can step back, you can see the bigger pictures. But it's always unknown. Okay? Trust that this life you're leading, not all of it, not all of it was divined or placed together in the blueprint before you got here. You have major things you want to accomplish. And that was the blueprint that you put down. And you all have access to that. All you have to do is a little bit of meditation going in to kind of see what that is. Now, while we're here in this body and things get crazy, we decide to have this thing called free will, and we are all over the place. Oh, good morning, Miss Pam. Um, all over the place. We do. We are running around with our heads cut off. Some of us are sitting back going, "Oh my gosh, I don't want to make the wrong decision." We'll sit on a decision for days, weeks, sometimes even years, afraid to make a bad decision, and other people make them like they're changing their underwear. But it doesn't matter how fast or how slow you make these decisions, you're still going to get to the same place, and you're still going to get there at the same time. One time might be a little bit hard, one path might be a little bit harder, while one path is a little bit easier. But I'll tell you what, when you sit back and you listen to your guides, they're going to help you. They're going to help you to navigate the easier the lifetimes, the easier the paths. Okay. Now, the big thing that's really talked about also with this card is grounding. Grounding. God, that's really, boy, that's a struggle, isn't it? Oh my gosh. Grounding is always a struggle because it's one of those fancy dancy words, and it shouldn't be, but it really turns into one of those fancy dancy words because it means so much. It really is everything. Grounding and breath are life. They really are. Because the only way to get higher in this world is to ground yourself. If you think about a tree, they tell you that a tree is only as tall as deep as roots are. So if you have a tree that's 10 feet tall, the roots are going to be 10 feet deep. Think about the redwoods over in is it Washington, California? Think about how deep their roots are to sustain a tree so tall. And you have to think about yourself the same way. For you to get a divine higher, you have to ground yourself deeper. And I know it doesn't necessarily feel like that should be, especially for anybody that's new into this world of metaphysics. I'm telling you what, I remember those days of being brand new. It was awesome. It was great because energy was cool and I was an addict. And oh my God, how high can I get? How high can I get? And that's really what it was. How I loved the energy rush. I loved that connection. I loved that feeling of feeling alive. It was so awesome. It was incredible. But it also came with being flighty, being uncontrolled, burnt out, exhausted. Life fell apart. All of those things. And it's incredible, that feeling of not being grounded. But when it comes to life with it all, it just doesn't work. So in order to know how to navigate, you have to ground. And you do have to hold your feet firmly on the ground. You have to imagine roots growing from your feet. You have to go hug trees. You have to go play with your dog in the snow. You have to learn to breathe and just allow things to leave the body. And you have to take all those hidey, flighty, airy, fairy feelings and let them go so you can come back to this reality. And the reason for that, it really is the reason for that. It's getting warm in here, guys. Maybe not. I don't know. The reason for that is because when we're up there, we can't process very well. I mean, we really can't we can't process very well. And they're oh, really, thank you. They're showing me, when people do those tests with alcohol, okay? And they start doing something functioning, doing some higher functioning thing, and I don't know, and they take a drink, or they take a shot. And then they keep trying to function, blah, blah, blah. And then, an hour, half hour later, whatever, they take a shot. And they keep trying to function, and then they take a shot. And sooner or later, you're starting to feel really good and you think you're functioning really well, but you're really not. And then next thing you know, you're kind of on the downhill slide. And grounding does the same thing. Energy does the same thing. We're all high up in the air with it. We're really not functioning very well. It's kind of like being high all the time, being drunk all the time. So we have to ground so that we can process. We have to ground so that we can understand everything. And that's really what that's all about. It's really about processing everything. Now, people, I know somebody out there is probably listening going, well, you just said when we get to the other side, we're going to process this, that, and the other. Well, yeah, we do. But the more you can process here, the less you have to process there. The more you can understand here, the less fiasco you're going to cause for yourself here. And the more you're going to be able to do or do more of what you came here to do. And potentially the less lifetimes that you're going to have to come here for. Does that make sense? I mean, because if you look back some good old days, go back a few centuries, say, I mean, Vikings or some other, more ancient, um, people, you go back to them, and they really had kind of one thought process. And it wasn't about learning and growing and growth, it was about survival. And it was survival against the wilderness and survival against the bear and survival against their own people and then maybe a neighboring tribe. But really, they never stopped to think about why was the reason for all of it. They just did it. And life pride became very one note. And they went back and they learned how to survive. The whole lifetime might have been about survival, and that's it. But they really weren't able to experience anything else within it, or very little else within it. And that gets to be kind of crazy. So when we spend in this lifetime grounding and we spend time processing, downloading, whatever you want to call these things, we really get to a point where we start to understand things, and we start to understand them on a deeper depth, much deeper depth. You know, I don't know about you, but I know I spent this morning. I mean, my dreams were processing more, um, much easier than they have in the past. So they weren't horrific dreams, but processing more that's going on in my mind. And I woke up to more thoughts that necessarily I don't want in my mind, but are a lot calmer than what they've been before in the past. But it was a different level of processing. It's a different level of understanding. And it's a different level of growth. And it's incredible because I can tell you, I was thinking about some of these things a month ago. And these are things that I don't choose to bring up, they just pop up in my head. But I process them to a certain level. And now I'm processing even deeper. I'm getting to a bigger picture of things, that bigger reason as to why. And it gets really incredible when we do that. And I will continue to process the same stuff until I get to the point of just basically like completely understanding why did I do this? Why did I experience this? Why did I have to have this growth? And it's incredible when you do that. And I will tell you, when you do that, when you go to those depths, life really does become a little bit easier because you start to look at everything else in a different way. And then life isn't as hard as it may have been prior, as it was prior. We start to navigate easier. We start to get through things easier. We start to process things easier. We start to see that bigger picture faster. And it's incredible when we do that. It's unbelievably incredible how all of a sudden life starts to get easier. And it's funny because I look at my grandparents and my parents and friends that are older, and I will tell you, I'm getting to that age myself where You know, they'll tell you, you know, the 20s and the 30s are for the young. That's when you're supposed to be stupid. That's when you're supposed to make your mistakes. That's when you're supposed to be like all over the place. But what happens when you get older? It's because you've gone through a lot of those lessons. You figured it out. And when you get older, you just figure out, God, why am I making this so hard on myself? And you stop making it so hard on yourself. And you start to process things faster and see things faster and understand things faster. And it's pretty amazing. But it's because you've learned how to ground and you've learned that everything is for experience and everything is just magical. So I hope you guys this week are continuing the lessons of earlier weeks and you're continuing this growth and continuing to dig through the clutter of your closets in your life and releasing those things that no longer are serving you. And I hope now you understand the whys to why we do this stuff and why we're just trying to make life easier and simpler on ourselves. Okay? With that being said, everybody, we're going to take a quick break. And when we get back, we'll have Mr. Ray with us. This is DeEtte here on Schooled Thru Spirit with WLTK-DB.com.
If you're a fan of the paranormal world, then you'll love WLTK-DB Talk Radio. Talk shows bringing you the latest on everything paranormal, cryptozoological, metaphysical, true crime, psychic readings, and more. The truth is here and now on WLTK-DB Talk Radio at WLTK-DB.com.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back. This is DeEtte Ranae here on Schooled Thru Spirit with WLTK-DB. This morning, my guest, he is RTL Paranormal, president and owner of, I'm going to say this wrong, Flumeri Promotions. I've gotten to know him just over time through Facebook and just the incredible stuff he does. And I would like to welcome Mr. Ray in here. Hello.
Well, hello. How are you?
Just fantastic. I was wondering what your voice would sound like.
You sound like a New Yorker.
I sound like a New Yorker. I'll be there in a few weeks.
Let me make it more stereotypical. How you doing?
Oh, so much better. You just put me in the Goodfellas movie. There you go.
There you go.
I love it. Hello, hello, hello. So can you tell us a little bit about you, Ray?
Well, let's see. 2009, I founded RTL Paranormal. Well, let me rewind a little bit. Back in the 90s, mid 90s, I was living in Pennsylvania, and I had my first actual paranormal experience in my apartment, which had me very intrigued about the afterlife and ghosts and spirits, and but it didn't really kick into drive until the TV show started coming in on TV, and I was like, my gosh, people are like me that actually are doing this.
Yeah.
So a couple of years later, I moved from one end of Virginia to the other. I'm living in Williamsburg, Virginia now, which is the epicenter of basically American history. You have Jamestown settlement, you have Colonial Williamsburg, and Yorktown, where basically we've had settlers and Native American skirmishes, I would say, revolutionary as well as Civil War history here, and plantation homes as far as the eye can see. So it was an ideal place for a paranormal investigator to start living in. So when I was here, I'm going to age myself a little bit. back when MySpace was popular.
I can still get into mine, so hey.
I can't get into mine, and I don't know how to. And after looking at all the pictures, I don't think I want to. But I looked for other people like myself who were interested in the paranormal, and got myself in a paranormal group here. Didn't like the way they ran their group. It was more of getting together and playing World of Warcraft on the computer.
Yeah.
And I'm too old for that. And now if it was Pac-Man or something, I'm all in it. But I really wanted to learn more about the afterlife and the paranormal. So along with a few other people, I founded RTL Paranormal in 2009. And just like any other paranormal group, I emailed hundreds of places. I would probably, no exaggeration, probably between 50 to 75 emails a week just to try to get into locations and stuff. Yeah. And once our foot was in the door with a couple of locations, we were blessed enough that we had more opportunities to investigate the paranormal in different locations and learn about our craft and to better ourselves in the way of investigating. And throughout that, we slowly and very proudly made a name for ourselves in our community, to the point where we had an idea about giving back to the community by doing public ghost hunting events.
Oh.
So we would do public ghost hunting events all throughout Hampton Roads, Virginia, along with doing things with the military bases. We're probably one of the very few in the Virginia area that have been personally invited to active military bases to investigate claims of paranormal activity at some of these locations.
That's cool.
For example, the Matthew Jones house at Fort Eustis Army Base. We investigated a retired Navy tugboat that was also, once it retired, the Coast Guard acquired it. And it's a cool story because if you ever watched The Perfect Storm with George Clooney, yes. That tugboat that's in the movie that went to go save everybody, that was the tugboat that we investigated.
Oh, that's so cool.
Unfortunately for you ladies, George Clooney wasn't there when we investigated, but
I'm not a big George Clooney. Now, if you'd put Sean Connery on that boat, different
that's
story.
Right. Sean Connery was dreamy.
He was.
If
you get older like him, so.
And also the 633rd Contracting Building at Langley Air Force Base.
Nice.
So we also do volunteer work. The Army base, Fort Eustis, they do a Halloween event every year for the children, where they have, they use the Transportation Museum where they have all the vehicles and planes throughout history there. And the mannequins, they replaced the mannequins with live mannequins. So when the children walk through with their little trick-or-treat bags and stuff, they look like they're looking at mannequins. When they pop out, they kind of get shocked a little bit and they hand candy to the kids. So I think, that's pretty cool. So with all that being done, I started to realize that how much I enjoyed doing public ghost hunting events. I don't know, maybe I'm getting older in my old age and getting a little bit softer, but I enjoy watching the expressions on people's faces when they investigate and they learn about the equipment and stuff like that. So we started doing our own, we started doing more of our RTL Paranormal ghost hunting events, where we incorporated junior ghost hunting events where the kids can come and learn about what they're watching on TV. And what's good about it is the part that I enjoy is without them even knowing it, they're learning basic skills, you know, when they get older, like they learn about taking notes. When you do client reveals, you're basically doing public speaking.
Yeah.
When you go to the library or try to find information on locations and stuff, you're doing research. You know, stuff that they don't like to learn, but they didn't realize they were actually learning it because they were too busy having fun. And also, my favorite part is they're bonding with their parents while doing it. So the more we did these events, the more I enjoyed it. But unfortunately, like a lot of public ghost hunting events, we felt it was starting to get boring. So I asked Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny and everybody that was going to give me little treats and gifts to give me money so I could save up and get the guys from the TV show Ghost Hunters to come to a couple of our events.
Yeah.
So we had Brian Murray, Rochelle Stratton, Mustafa Gadalari, and Daryl Marston from the TV show Ghost Hunters to do a couple of events for us. And I guess they liked how we ran our events to the point where I was asked to be a talent manager. So they were having some issues with their talent manager at the time. So I of course, I said yes. And that was about 2 months before the pandemic started. When it comes to a lot of things, I have the worst luck. So
no, I get it because you know, Spirit told me I was doing this full time, February 10th of 2020.
It was about that time. It was about that time too.
I quit nursing less than 3 weeks before the pandemic.
And when it was at the height of the pandemic, where a lot of historical places were closing down, the schools were down, it was a bit of a struggle to do events and stuff because the regulations always changed. And if you're doing events at different states, you have to deal with different regulations. So, and believe it or not, considering the circumstances, we were doing okay. We were following the guidelines and for each state and how many people can go to these events. And then you have to separate the seats, and it was just a hot mess. But we did pretty good. And, you know, throughout the years, the talent has changed. And this year, I to be honest, we have so many new talent. I still represent Kristen Luman and Mustafa from Ghost Hunters, but we have new talent that we're representing that I can't be more happy about because it's different when you represent people that have already established. But when you have people that are new to the field and fresh in these, you can see their passion in it.
Right.
And they not only want to learn, but they want to share what they learned. It sparks your interest again. It reignites your passion for it. And it makes, I'm very truly blessed with the talent that I'm representing now. And 2023 is going to be an interesting year for us, a fun year for Flumeri Promotions. Flumeri.
I knew I was going to mess it up. So I knew it. And anybody that listens to this show goes, DeEtte screws it up. I screw up pronunciation. You're lucky I got Ray right, believe it or not.
It's a funny story about the Ray thing because my real name is Raphael. And when I was a kid, my little brother, we were picking out names for my little brother, and I got tired of everybody calling me everything but Raphael because I couldn't pronounce it right. Yeah. So at the time, I was really into boxing, and my two favorite boxers were Sugar Ray Leonard and Ray Boom Boom Mancini. So I picked Ray. So there you go.
I love that. I think it's funny because my name is DeEtte. Very few people, nobody can pronounce it. But literally over the last year, I'm like, I'm going to really fight to learn to pronounce things. I'm like, I've been really like trying. All of a sudden, people are starting to pronounce my name correctly. Like first time, I'm like, well, I've spent 50 plus years. So I guess if I try a little bit, the people will try a little bit. You know,
Awesome.
I love it.
But
And I was gonna say, I know some of your new talent, and holy cow, you got some good people on your roster.
I do, and I can't be any more. And to believe it or not, I think I might have a couple of more popping up soon. So, yep, fasten your seatbelts. We're gonna have a fun ride this year.
I can't wait to watch it. I'm in the background watching it going, hoo hoo, there he goes again.
From what I hear from standing at the water cooler, there's somebody that might be part of Flumeri.
Ooh, I would, you know what? That person just might say yes.
You heard it here first, folks.
You heard it here, guys. You heard it here. I love it. So I want to go back. I want to hear more about the talent. Because actually, and I want to answer this question for somebody. They're like, "What is a talent manager?"
A talent manager, as far as I'm concerned, I'm not your typical talent manager. I didn't go to college. I didn't take business management or anything, but I do have a passion for the paranormal, and it's not just ghost hunting. And because of the way I was brought up by my father, I really care about the people that I represent. I do my very best to not, if I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do my very best to do that. So what I do as a talent manager is I look for locations that are suitable for the talent to do something, an event at, whether it's a ghost hunting event, a gallery reading, a speaker events, stuff like that. And it just depends on, like, I really pay attention to the talent that I talk to and how they come across to me and really get a feel for them. And then I look for places that would be a good fit for them, not just throwing them at events at different locations. I want it so that you don't want to mix oil with vinegar. So because it doesn't work unless it's in an Italian salad. But but you want to make sure that everything is so much in sync and perfect that the guests that do go to the event are not only going to enjoy themselves, they're going to talk about it and have memories and want to come back to the next event and see what else we have going on.
That makes sense.
That's like, I'm not knocking all the other event companies, because they can do their thing, but from some of the messages that I've gotten from people about other events is, about our events are, what they like about it is because I bring a little bit of my dad's, the way I was brought up with my father. My father was born in Italy. That's where Flumeri comes from. He was born in Flumeri. And excuse me. As part of, I'm half Italian, half Argentinian. So family is really important to us.
Right.
So what I try to do is, and as well as everybody that works for Flumeri and RTL, we make it a family feel kind of event where, and when I say that, I mean that when you come to the event, by the time you leave, you feel like as if you've known everybody for years. And I really enjoy that because that's where you get your business card, your smile, the way you present yourself to people, the way you treat people. That's your business card.
Yep. I agree.
And I really enjoy making people happy. It's one of the things I enjoy doing, and to be able to do it in a field where I have love for it is fun. And I just I can't stop smiling about it when I think about it, because throughout my life, I've always struggled to find myself and find what I have a passion for.
Mm-hmm.
And when I started doing the paranormal with RTL and then eventually with Flumeri Promotions, I kind of found it. Like, I found the missing piece to the puzzle. So I want to share how I feel and how the other people under Flumeri Promotions feel with everybody else is out there. So the way I do stuff, it's not business minded,
Mm-hmm.
but it's more personal. If that makes any sense.
It makes sense to me, because I'm honestly, I'm thinking about so many different scenarios in my own head, because like when I stated I was a nurse, I was an agency nurse most of my career. You know, I would say 95% of it, I was an agency nurse. And the company I would work for is like, you work for us, you did it. I'm like, you know what? My name is DeEtte. If I screw up, they're not going to remember your name. They're going to remember my name. You know what I mean? If I come in, you know, my name isn't Sarah, it's not Sue, it's not something, they're going to go, oh, this person that works for this company. No, it's mine, you know?
Yeah.
So it was like, I get that, you know, and coming in with, I always came in very professional, very whatever, but I always came in with a different level than somebody else possibly next to me, just because of that. You know, it was good. My name made things stick with me no matter what I did. I get stuck with it, you know? So I get it.
I completely understand how you feel, because you know, with Flumeri and everything, this, unfortunately, this ugly face is what they see and remember. But I'm just the person behind the curtain, like you know, like the Wizard of Oz movie. There's tons of people under Flumeri that run the events for me. I have a great group, paranormal group. I have great talent. All I do is I find the locations and they do everything else. That's how great they are. And they're the ones that put in all the work. They keep telling, you know, I keep getting messages and stuff about, oh, your event. No, it's not my event. It's our events. And they do a great job. And I can't praise them enough for all the hard work they do. They do stuff that you wouldn't even imagine. Like, they make one of them, Pat, has made our travel mugs, and she's in the process of making Flumeri sweatshirts. Like, she doesn't have to do this, and she's doing it out of her own time and money, which eventually I'm gonna have to fix that. But they just go out of their way, and that's what I love about it. It's one big family. During the summer, I was going through some hard stuff, and my family was there, and they made sure that I was okay. They checked up on me, and stuff like that, because they understand. You know, like, even though you have a personal life, your business can't stop.
No, it doesn't.
And then when you have kids, and then you have a primary job, you don't have time to think or worry about stuff. And unfortunately, life hands you stuff that you're going to have to deal with. And unfortunately, at times it's a little bit overwhelming, but like I said, I have the family there that I couldn't be any more happier to have. So.
And I love that. And I don't know if you know Christy Ayers.
I do.
She says, hey, not allowed to call yourself ugly, just saying. And I agree with her, because when you said that, I have to agree with Christy. It took me back to when I made the banner for this. You went, oh, you made me looking not nice or sophisticated or intelligent. I thought, you took the picture. I just took it from your Facebook site and made it bigger.
That's kind of funny about you talk about the picture, because
I want to bring up that picture.
My oldest son is part of Flumeri as our photographer, and his name is Nick Beckner, and he takes incredible photos.
That was an amazing photo.
So if you ever need some headshots, let me know.
Well, why didn't you tell me before 3 days ago? I just put a deposit down for some new ones.
I will take that deposit back and we'll talk.
Next time, I think I'll be in the. I think I'll be in the seat for more pictures soon anyway. But
I don't know. I think so too.
oh, there you go. I think you're psychic. I do want to talk about that picture because obviously you're on a ghost hunt. You're on a paranormal investigation. That picture. I know you have to be. What is the white light coming up from the ground behind you? Do you know? Because I know that came up in the picture and everybody went, "What is that?" And you either debunked it or not.
Well, we did an investigation of the Clifton 5 Theater in Huntington, Pennsylvania with Clifton Paranormal. And we were actually in the basement, well, not the base, well, I don't know what you would call it. I guess the basement of the theater. We were actually underneath the theater, and it's a crawl space that you have to like bend over. And we were doing an experiment on the far back of the crawl space, where we had some balls, cap balls, and other. We had a EDI, I believe, over there, and we were checking it out. And the white light, I believe, could be something from flashlight. Okay, if I'm not mistaken. I have to look at it a little bit more. I just thought it was a cool picture of myself because I don't really have cool pictures of myself.
That's really cool. I'll tell you, that was a really good. You do a lot with covering the face and with hats and this. I'm gonna find a picture where he's not doing all of that.
Well, I take my hat off now, but the glare from the window, you won't be able to see anything. Might set the whole place on fire.
You can be like me, and I mean, I've got my office, and then I put blankets on top of the windows to fight the light. See, it just looks angelic. Look, if you can take a screenshot, it looks angelic around you. How the light's behind you.
Well, I put the hat on so you don't see the horns.
I just seen the halo, so you're in trouble. There you go. It was all angelic, and I think anybody on here just seen the glow around you.
That's pretty cool.
Just rewrote the story, Ray.
But the Clifton 5 Theater in Pennsylvania is a great place, and it's run by, once again, it was Clifton Paranormal is a group of friends, which is similar to RTL Paranormal, how we started, that actually work at the theater. And they know everything about that theater, in and out, the history and everything. And that's what's great about this group, where we became friends. And so when they invited us to investigate, it was very cool because it was after the last group of people that left from watching a movie, and we just had access to the whole place. And to be able to investigate every little nook and cranny and be able to capture some data that we can't explain. I use the word data because I don't like the word evidence, right? Because it's not evidence. Right. Unless you can 100% prove what it is, then it's not evidence of paranormal. We collect information that whether we can explain or not. The stuff that we can't explain, we don't call it evidence. And it's kind of like, it's the same thing when we do client reveals. When we do a client reveal, we're not doing it to with the information that we gather that we can explain. We don't insinuate that it's paranormal or spirits. We let the homeowner or the business owner determine that for themselves. We just basically, more or less, I don't want to say hired, but because we don't get paid, but we are asked to go to a location to do what we do, and we collect the information, and we do our very best to try to debunk everything. The stuff that we can't figure out what could have been a cause for it, we put that in a little special basket in our computer, and then we present that to them, and it's up to them to determine, because if you have a homeowner or a business owner who is dead set on thinking that their place is haunted, and you tell them it's not,
Right.
what do you think is going to happen?
Oh, they get a little upset.
So we don't like to do that. We don't like causing any drama or ruffling any feathers and stuff. So we just present
the original. Yeah, it's kind of like the original paranormal show. Was it Jason Haas?
the
Jason?
original centers, yeah.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, they did it that way. You know, they went in there and they did a bunch of what they could, and what they couldn't explain, they went, we can't explain it.
Exactly.
You know?
There's, unfortunately, nowadays, there's a lot of people out there that, and don't get me wrong, you know, I would love to be on TV, but there's a lot of people out there that kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Insinuate that something isn't really something, just so they can be the next big thing. And, you know, if that's what you want to do, so be it. Unfortunately, I don't have the face or the mouth for TV. I don't have a brain to mouth filter. And I think that gets me in trouble all the time. But there is a lot of people out there that, well, there's a lot of people out there that are doing it for the right reasons in the right way, in my opinion.
Right.
And there's others who hide behind the cloak of doing it the right way for the right way. But if you look behind the cloak, you know that they're not.
Right.
Unfortunately, I know some like that, but it's all good. Whatever makes you happy, then be happy.
And then they don't like it when I show up because I'm like, I don't know anything about your equipment, but I'll talk to them. I'll talk to them.
I used to represent a psychic. Her name is April, who is she's awesome, and she doesn't use any equipment whatsoever either. And what's great about her and working with RTL and Flumeri is she goes into a location cold turkey, much like yourself, I would assume.
Yeah.
And so she doesn't know any information about anything.
I don't want to know a thing.
But the things that she has told us that we already knew about because we've investigated this place many times. Also, it correlates with the equipment that we're using. So as you know, the more equipment that you have that correlates with the situation that occurred, to me, that's good data.
Yeah.
So, and it leans toward possibly something paranormal there. When you have a psychic that is basically saying pretty much the same things that are going on with your equipment or with you capture an EVP at the same time that she is starting to feel something, like group all that together, and that's
good stuff.
Good stuff.
It's good stuff.
So we try to do things as thorough as possible when it comes to investigating. And then when we do our events, because there's a fine line between true investigating and the entertainment part.
Yeah.
What we try to do at our Flumeri events is we try to erase that fine line and put them together. So not only are they learning stuff and learning it correctly, but they're learning all this stuff from people that they admire on TV or from podcasts or documentaries, and they're doing it and also enjoying themselves at the same time. That's what we like to do. I'm not saying other people don't do that, but just something about a Flumeri event is just a little bit different than others. And, you know, I say that proudly, but I'm not trying to be conceited about it. It's just I'm very proud of what we do.
No, I get it, because I've only done one guided tour of a ghost hunt, and it was in Wisconsin. And I'll tell you what, if thank goodness I decided to go on from that and do other things, because if it wasn't for that, I would have never done it again. Because the tour was literally come in, we don't want crystals, we don't want this, we don't want that, keep all your stuff out. Okay, right. I get it, but I understand it. And basically they split us up and we went into areas, we sat down and they played with tools and they had conversations amongst themselves and never, every once in a while they say, does somebody want to carry this around? And they kept handing it to the same person that would have pants that were like, you could hear the swoosh, swoosh, like women's pants, but it was a man like wearing parachute pants or something going swoosh. And that's all you could hear. It's like, okay.
Parachute pants.
It was like, well, you know the sound of a parrot. It's the only way I can
Yes,
like,
I do. I used to wear them in the 80s during my breakdancing phase.
I had a few pairs. You know? We're about the same age, apparently. But and that's all I could hear. And I thought, God, why am I here? Why, you know?
Now let me be the interviewer for a second.
Yeah, go ahead.
Where are you from?
Wisconsin.
So that accent is a Wisconsin accent?
Kind of.
Okay, so where are you from?
Wisconsin. Where you're gonna get it from is one, I pick up accents super easy and accidentally. It's an accident, you know what I mean? So for one thing is I've traveled the country first as a nurse and then now as a medium. I go to a lot of different areas. But you'll find a southern twang to my voice every once in a while. And it's like, where's that? And I'll say y'all like perfectly and everybody's like, but my sister lived in Texas for over 30 years before she passed away.
Every once in a while when you say some, I get a little hint of English, like proper English. And then like an Irish Scottish kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, I've been to Scotland too. Hey, I'm one of the very few people that could say I went to Ireland, got one night, got drunk and came home.
Well, I went to an Irish pub and got drunk there for a few hours and went home too, but that's a whole different story.
I'll tell you what, we'll have to sit down and swap stories because you'll be like, you went, and I did. I went to Ireland, literally showed up about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, was gone by 7 o'clock in the morning, and got cut off at ice cream about 2:33 a.m. So there you go.
Oh, I think we're going to have a long talk after this show.
I'll tell you what.
I think I know a few people that were going to enjoy our drinking stories.
There you go. The thing is I won't drink anymore because it's no secret. Right. I've had gastric bypass, so I'm a hoot now to get drunk because literally there's no buzz period. And it's like I take literally 2 sips and I'm wasted. Wait 15 minutes, I'm sober, and then I can do it again. It's not much fun anymore.
Hold on for 1 second. Christy Ayers, if you're listening, we need to book her at the Josephine and have her there 2 days before the event so we can watch this.
Don't ask her that. She's listening. She just like, where in Wisconsin? And it's the lower part. I'm literally just over the border, Christy, just over the border, between the border of Wisconsin, just above Chicago and Madison. So
Christy, we found ourselves a designated driver. We just got to be there in 15 minutes.
That's about it. Yes, I'll do Drunken Oracle. Yes. I love it. I am the designated driver now for everybody. And I'm okay with that. I have more fun sober than ever. And I can't say that. I used to have a lot of fun drunk. So.
And we'll talk after the show.
Oh, Christy's like, she's right around here also. I love that. I love that. Awesome. I love that. Yeah. So what is, I'm going to think RTL has got to be Ray, Tom, and Lloyd Paranormal or something. No, I'm totally off.
Well,
my senses are gone.
In the very beginning, it was Real Truth Learned. I didn't really like it. So the end joke, the inside joke was Ray the loser or Ray the lover. And then after that, I just got tired of people asking. So RTL is just RTL. There's, as far as I'm concerned, there's no meaning to it. It kind of stands out when you don't have an acronym. Don't get me wrong. You know, there's a lot of paranormal groups and they can do whatever they want. Some of them have some pretty cool acronyms, but I'm not a big fan of acronyms.
And that works.
RTL is RTL. Flumeri is Flumeri.
You're kidding me. I can just forever you can go Flumeri. And you're going Flumeri and you'll be like, she'll never get it.
Well, wait till if we ever get drunk together, you'll see it even come out because I got the big lips. I'll be Flumeri.
I love it. I love it. I will remember that because I have friends that are, not Italian, but live there. And then one was born there and they're very strict on, I can say Italian wines and dishes like no other. So,
Of course. Yeah, just as long as you don't say Olive Garden or Carrabba food, and then because if you do, you and I are going to have an issue.
No. I literally quit nursing for a while, worked for an Italian restaurant, not a real Italian restaurant where the chef was actually born in Naples. He's American born in Naples. But no, we're carbonara and all of it is just, it's the
Perfect.
correct pronunciations on like bolognese sauce and all of it. We got the correct pronunciations.
Keep
Sienna
talking.
wine, you know what I mean? Greco wine, it's just, I can sell it. Give me your pocketbook. I can take your money and sell you Italian food all day long.
So you and I are going to be good friends.
There you go. I just can't. Flumeri.
Yeah, that's how you say it with your lips sticking way out.
I'm gonna just remember, be a duck when I say it. Be a duck.
There
I love
you
it.
go.
Christy says she's from this area, but now she's in Kansas. I love that. A lot of people in Wisconsin get caught up in that storm and end up in Kansas. That's popular.
That's kind of funny that you were bringing up Wisconsin because I've been watching that 70s show, a marathon all morning.
From Milwaukee. It's from Milwaukee. I'm literally, that's an hour and 10 minutes away from me. One highway gone.
There's a few events that I'd like to talk about. January 14th.
Please do. I was going to ask you about those.
January 14th, we have an event at the Castlewood Plantation in Chesterfield, Virginia. That night, we're going to have one of our talents, Forgotten Explorations, along with RTL Paranormal and special guest investigator Kelly Miller.
Oh, okay.
She's a psychic from upper Northeast, and I've been friends with her for years, and she's amazing. She's a great person, great friend, very talented. And then February 11th, I've been so behind. I have to make an event link for it, but February 11th, we have an event at the abandoned high school in Goochland, Virginia.
Ooh,
yes.
Okay.
Something about that name, Goochland, makes me smile. But anyway, Goochland, Virginia is the abandoned Central High School. A lot of history behind it. We feel that not only is the janitor there, I can spill the beans. We've been there a few times. There was a janitor that worked. It was an all African American school.
Okay.
And all throughout the years, for I want to say 30 to 40 years that it was a school, there was a janitor there that he absolutely loved working there. And unfortunately, he was forced to retire early, which caused him to go into deep depression. And it was thought that he hung himself in the school, but we found out through some research that it was a farmhouse not that far from the school where he hung himself. It was like a barn.
Okay.
We feel like he's still there, and from day one that the school was open to them closing the school, they had one principal.
Right.
We feel like his spirit is still there as well, because we feel like when you love something, it's almost like an object. When somebody cherishes an object so much, and then when they die, their energy is imprinted in that object, which will cause activity.
Right.
Well, we feel like the janitor and the principal, their object was the school, because they loved it so much. They loved all the students that came in and out of that school. So they stayed to make sure everything was okay. We've captured EVPs, shadows, apparitions, equipment going off, we have some video of things that we can't explain. So January 14th, we're going to be at the abandoned high school. Hopefully I can get that link up so people can go to it.
I think you do have the link for the, I'm looking for the link for it.
I haven't even made it yet.
Oh,
I'm so behind. But I do have the link for January 14th at Castlewood Plantation. That link takes you to the Chesterfield, Virginia Historical Society, and they will take care of your tickets and ticket information.
Okay.
Then our big one in March. Well, actually, we have two. March 4th, we have the investigation on the USS North Carolina, the battleship there. We've investigated there a few times. I had an event there, I want to say 2 years ago. Great place. We did some filming with Forgotten Exploration for their YouTube channel there. I can't remember when it was. I think it was November maybe. And I had my own personal experience there when I was doing a solo session that's going to be part of the episode that they're going to air soon. I can't say too much, but let's just say that I asked a question and I got a response.
Oh, okay.
So I would love for you guys to be a part of this event and come investigate with us if you can. Go to the Flumeri Promotions Facebook page, and or the Ray Savino my personal page, Facebook page, and if you scroll down through all the weird memes and posts I make trying to make people laugh, you'll find the link for it.
Yeah, I also have the Flumeri Promotions LLC up on the screen right now for people to see that. And within the comments, I have RTL Paranormal up there also. So
I'm sorry, what was the first page?
I have Flumeri Promotions. Flumeri.
So I just need you to stick your lips out or not.
Flumeri. I gotta learn. I need to go get some lip injections to do it correctly.
Yeah, I don't have that problem. I have big monkey lips.
Yeah,
but
I do it and I feel like I get duck lips. So
and also here's another one that I need to make an event for, or a link for, is March 25th.
okay.
Flumeri Promotions is going to be in Gordonsville, Virginia, at the Exchange Hotel Civil War Medical Museum.
Oh,
That
wow.
place, you need to get there and visit and investigate it because you will love it, especially you.
Me?
Yeah, with your voodoo psychic abilities.
There you go.
That place, in my opinion, is probably the second most active location in Virginia.
Wow.
Right under St. Albans Sanitarium. This place has so much history to it. It's right next to a train track, an active train track. A train will come down once in a while. It used to be a Civil War hospital for both Union and Confederate soldiers. So there is a lot of different kind of energy running around there. There's a little girl that is in the main house. I forget her name, but I've had her, I've captured her voice on audio, actually security cameras. We had security cameras around. Wow. And we were setting up for an event, and I can't remember exactly how she worded it, but she goes, it's something like, "Where's my mommy? And that's my mommy," or something like that. But it was in such a really typical high-pitched little girl voice, right? And nobody caught it. Nobody acknowledged it or anything. Oh. We also, in the main building of the museum, is the office where Tracy Bruner and Derek, who run the museum, have their office. So they have a big, huge TV with the security cameras. So one of the cameras faces outside at a little building that they call the kitchen house, where there's a couple of rooms in there where people can stay the night. As we were watching the camera for the kitchen house, the upper bedroom on the left-hand side of the building turned on and off by itself. Nobody was in there.
Wow.
Which that was pretty cool. I liked it.
Awesome.
So yeah, March 25th, as soon as I'm able to get the link completed, I will post that on the Flumeri and Ray Savino pages, along with the abandoned high school one in Goochland.
Goochland. You're going to make me say every word that makes my lips go Goochland.
Like every time I say that word, it's like I'm reminded of my father, because my father would say stuff like that. With his thick Italian accent, he was like, the Goochland.
Oh, I love that. I love that. So what, I know you said a little bit that people at the events come and they get to learn about the equipment. They get to do an investigation. They do all that. I think that's so incredible.
They do. Especially a lot of the people that go to the events, a lot of them are already in paranormal groups and stuff like that. They go for the experience, but there's a lot of people that are not really into the paranormal like that come to just because they're curious, or they're trying to impress their girlfriend who's into the paranormal, the other way around, or stuff like that. Or you have the history buffs. So when they come and they have no idea, they start asking questions about what does this piece of equipment do and this one does. I start getting giddy and I start smiling and I'm like, oh, here we go. And I start explaining stuff. And that's the same with the rest of the people in Flumeri. And what's fun about it is not only after you explain the theory behind the equipment, it doesn't mean that that's what it's supposed to do and that's what it's going to do, because you can't determine anything in the paranormal, and you can't prove that a piece of equipment is supposed to do exactly that, and that's what they did. No, you can't, because everything in the paranormal is theory and here-based. It's not, I mean, it's scientific to a point.
Well, in my experience, I'm going kind of, but those are some stories, and you'd be like, what?
Well, yeah, but when after you explain the equipment and the theory behind it, and then you tell them you want to use it, they think that you just gave them the car keys to the Bugatti. They just like, oh my God, are you serious? And you know, that's another thing that I secretly enjoy, is watching their face when you give them the equipment that they see on TV to use, and then to watch them handle it like it's like a big piece of jewelry, a crystal, like they're holding it like they're afraid, like it's a baby. They're afraid they're going to drop it or something.
Right.
I'm like, don't worry about it. Just have fun with it. I mean, it's only $400 or $500. I'm sure I could find it somewhere. You know?
I laugh about equipment because, you know, it's how most people look at a medium, like, and they get skeptical. I look at equipment and get skeptical. And like, especially that box goes. I'm like, oh.
Well, it's funny because even though we use the equipment that you know a lot of the people use, I'm more skeptical of the equipment than I am of people with abilities and gifts. Just because I know what the equipment is said, what it's supposed to do, what it's said to do.
Yeah.
But I know maybe 99.9% of the time, like you said, it's just white noise coming out. I don't know anything about your gifts, and I'm not going to try to pretend that I do. But when somebody goes into a location cold turkey and they're able to pick up on names and what they did at that place, it's different because how do they know the names? How do they know when they were there or what their role was at that location? Because a lot of the stuff a lot of the information that is out there on like websites and all that, the stuff that we know about, you're not going to find it in the website. You're not going to find it in a history book.
Exactly.
So for someone such as yourself who has a gift, is able to pick up And I don't mean psychics that are very vague. They go, oh, I see a man with brown hair and overalls. No, I'm talking about ones that say, I'm getting the name William. He was a slave. He wore this kind of hat. He was in charge of making sure the other servants were doing what they were supposed to be doing so they don't get in trouble. And, overseeing. That's the stuff that you're not going to see in a website and stuff. And that's the stuff that I pick up on when we have a psychic on board.
Right.
Because that, because, there's a lot of them out there that do what do they call it? I think it's called cold calls, where they kind of fish for stuff.
Yes.
And
cold readings. Yes. It's like being a car salesman. Yeah.
And I don't know if you can tell by my angelic face, but when I was younger, I was ornery. I was a little bit of a troublemaker. So, and I don't know what the SEC regulations are, so I'm going to be nice about it. You can't BS a BS artist.
Right. Right.
So, when I feel like somebody is faking the funk, so to speak,
right.
Unfortunately, once again, my brain to mouth filter doesn't work, and I'm going to call you out on it. So
exactly. Well, see, and that's why I was talking about the equipment, where I've always had this thing where it's like, but I'll tell you what, 3 times now, equipment has proven to me it works. 3 times. I mean, like we talked about my name, and a year and a half ago, I was on a shoot with a team, and in my mind, I thought, I'm not going to believe that box anything unless it says my name, and it better come through clear. And that's what I said in my head. Didn't tell anybody else, and they got it on camera. The box says my name, clears, and we all about dropped. We're like, whoa, I mean, it wasn't like.
It's not like your name is something common or easily mistaken for something else. Like my name comes through the spirit box almost all the time. Yeah. Especially during EchoVox sessions. I don't really pay too much mind to it. The only time that I've ever believed that what came out of an EchoVox or a spirit box was indeed paranormal was 2017. My father passed away from adenocarcinoma in December 1st. And about 2 months later, I did a private investigation of a horse stable. And we were in the woods doing an EchoVox session. And we didn't pay too much attention to what we were doing during our session, because one, I was more focused in asking the questions and stuff. And plus it was either the end of February or beginning of March. So my petite figure couldn't handle the cold that much, even though I'm built like an egg. But so afterwards, when I went home and I started reviewing all the audio and stuff, and I was reviewing the EchoVox, my father's voice came out. And at first and my father has a distinct voice. He has an Italian accent, and he has a deep voice. And he used to call me, for short for Raphael, was Raf and Rafi. But in the beginning of the audio clip, where my dad tried to Americanize himself, so to speak, where he tried to get rid of his accent. He would forcibly talk in a certain way that just made him sound like he was an extra in a spaghetti western. And, he just sounded like he was really in a bad Western movie. He had that Ray kind of thing, like a twang to it. So in the beginning of the audio clip, you hear him say Ray a couple of times. And then in his calm, soft-spoken voice, you hear him say Rafi. And it was his voice. You cannot mistake it for anything else. I wasn't even thinking about my dad I think about my dad all the time, but when you're focused on something kind of, you're focused on reviewing the audio. Right. So when I was focused on reviewing and I heard that, my eyes and my head went up, and I'm like, oh, that's Dad. There's no mistaking. And that was probably the only time that I considered the equipment to be doing what it's supposed to be doing. Unfortunately, that was the last time I've heard my father's voice. But oh, you would have loved him.
Oh, I bet you. I'm just thinking he's got to be he probably turned in his grave, but I'm like a big old teddy bear is what I keep imagining.
He was 5'0" nothing. He had the big Italian mustache. He was very successful in his masonry business. So he would be proud of his hard work. He came from growing up with dirt floors and sweeping. He was sweeping the dirt off the dirt floors, you know, because that was a chore. To having himself well established to the point where he had a nice home. He had the Italian Mr. T beginner's kit necklace thing going on here with the shirt buttoned down so everybody could see every chain. He drove Italian cars. He was the typical Italian that he had a wallet full of credit cards, but he had in his front pocket a big old wad of money that he would just give to everybody. And he wasn't doing that to be conceited. He was proud of his hard work, and he wanted to reward people for their hard work.
Yeah.
So yeah, he was, you know, I joke around about it with him when he was alive, but it was true. Like, men wanted to be him because he was very successful, and he was well respected in all aspects of whatever community he was a part of. He was well respected. When he died and passed, the generals from the Italian embassy came to the funeral. You know, stuff like that. When he was sick in the hospital, days before he passed away, his last Thanksgiving meal was at the hospital. He saw a commercial, or he saw a news. He watched the news, and they were talking about the Toys for Tots.
Yeah.
And he told his girlfriend that was sitting there, he goes, they don't have any toys. And we were trying to explain to him what Toys for Tots was. And he goes, her name was Judy. She goes, Judy, just cut him a check for $20,000. Let him buy the toys. And we were like, no, Dad, that's not quite how that works. So we explained it to him, and he goes, well, just take the check and buy $20,000 worth of toys. I'm like, Dad, okay, that's a chemo talking now. But when he passed away, in lieu of flowers and stuff like that, we put big boxes in the funeral home for people to donate toys.
Oh, that's amazing. That's beautiful.
To honor him. So
Beautiful.
he was
sharing that.
He was well loved. So if I can take an inkling of his personality and charisma and his passion for what he did and putting it into paranormal events and stuff like that, then I can probably die a happy person, because my dad was my hero. So
I think you already do that. You know?
Yeah, but I can't find a cape.
Christy,
No.
he needs a cape.
Oh, she's still on? I thought I made her fall asleep with all my talking.
No. She's giving me advice on lipo for my lips instead of. She says just use a suction glass for 5 minutes instead. It's cheaper. I'll have to try it.
What is it? The curling iron.
There you go. I love it. Thank you for sharing that. That is beautiful. You know, that is beautiful. Thank you. You know.
Whenever I can, I always talk about him. He's a good guy.
I love it. We got a moment left, and I want to ask you, if you were going to tell anybody anything, any piece of advice, anything, what would you give them?
From after what I've learned the last 6 months or so, is if you don't know how to love yourself and put yourself first and take care of yourself, you're not going to be worth anything to anybody else. I've had a long and hard life that I always put to the side. I never dealt with. And now the past 6 months or whatever, kind of it all fell apart and everything is gushing out to the point where I have to deal with it. You can't be nice to people who have no, they don't have your best interest at heart. They're going to be selfish. You can't love other people that are not going to love you back. You cannot put all your energy into people that are basically vampires. So why not take that energy and turn it around and focus on yourself? And that's what I'm doing.
I love that.
I'm learning a little bit more each day about myself. I have a lot of work to do on myself, but it's my work.
Yeah.
So
it's incredible. It's incredible when you can do that.
And hopefully one day when I feel like I've made good process, and then maybe one day I can share what I learned so other people don't make the same mistakes. So
thank you.
Not everybody's perfect, but what makes it perfect is if you can understand that you need to work on yourself, then you're halfway there.
Yeah. It's a beautiful journey, no matter how hard it is.
Yes, ma'am.
It's a beautiful journey. Well, thank you, Ray, for coming on, talking about Flumeri Productions. Flumeri.
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 What's called Flumeri?
Flumeri Productions and RTL Paranormal.
I just wanted to see if you would put your lips out like that.
Flumeri. I say Flumeri and RTL. I mean,
RTL.
And then RTL. Thank you so much for coming on and talking about all this, sharing it, and all of your stories. So amazing. And thank you. Thank you. It's all I can say is thank you.
Oh, thank you for having me. And I hope to see you soon. Hint, hint, and wink, wink.
Hint, hint, and wink, wink. We'll have to talk for sure. Okay.
Have your people call my people. We'll do lunch.
I'll call you.
I got you.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Let me get my secretary.
That's where I go, hey, I send you a message and say, hey, Ray, call me. I need people. please put in your notes you're supposed to call me so I can get people.
That's right.
That's how that works.
I got my marker board here, my calendar. I'll put that down.
Okay, perfect. Perfect. Well, you have a beautiful day, Ray. Thank you so much.
Too.
And for everybody else, I'll be back in a few minutes with your weekly reading. This is DeEtte here at Schooled Thru Spirit with WLTK-DB.com.
See you guys later.
Want to keep up with the latest at the station? How about catch up on your favorite shows on the go? Download the free WLTK-DB mobile app on the App Store and Google Play. Watch, listen, and shop right from the palm of your hand. The WLTK-DB mobile app. The truth is here and now. Get yours today.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back. This is DeEtte here on Schooled Thru Spirit with WLTK-DB.com. I've had the most amazing morning with Ray and Flumeri from Flumeri Productions and RTL Paranormal. That is a gentleman. I think we could talk for hours upon hours upon hours just about everything he's done, his life. Because trust me, guys, we only touched literally very, very little, very, very little. And but again, he's just such a dynamic gentleman, and I wanted you guys to be able to meet him, follow him, go to some of his events, because trust me, he's just an amazing experience. You're not going to find elsewhere what you can find with him. So please take a moment, go into Flumeri.com. I want to put that back up for everybody. Flumeri Promotions LLC, right there. Excuse me. Find him. Go check out some of these events. They're amazing. They're amazing. So let's do your 5-card stud today, and we're going to use the Halloween Oracle, aka my paranormal deck, just because, you know what, I haven't found a paranormal deck yet that I want to sit with, but I do love these cards. So, and for my producer Todd, he loves these cards, so we're going to use these cards. So as always, guys, we're going to go 1 through 5. Pick any one, 1, 2, 3, all 4, all 5 of you on one, however many, you know the deal. So card number 1 is the hearth, happiness in the hearts and homes. And if you pick card number 1, this is what you're working at. You're really working on right here, right now. Okay. You know, because like what Ray said, if you don't love yourself, you can't love anything else. And this is where you're sitting at. So if you pick number 1, you are working on your own personal happiness. You're working on your own personal love for yourself and venturing forward with that. Card number 2, the most magical hour is midnight. I love this. The most magical hour of all. And I love this card. Why? Because I know this card is going to have, if I look in the book, it's going to have a different meaning than what I'm looking at it for. But what I'm looking at this card is that, you know what? You are at the hour of beginning, the hour of creation, okay? Because if you look at midnight as midnight, yeah, most people go midnight is like middle of the night. How is that the hour of the beginning? But if you're looking at military time, that is 00, guys. And I'm looking at the time is now for you. And that's what this means to me, is that the time is now. Whatever you're looking at, if you've had a question, should I or should I not do something? I'm going to say it's now. It's not an hour never, but it's the time is now to get started on something. Card number 3 is the strength card. And looking at this card, it's going within, okay? You've done, and I love this card because whether you're in a tarot deck or some other deck, when you're looking at the strength card, this tells me you have gone through a lot. You've gone through your paces. You've had one heck of a life, and you were on top of everything. And you're bringing that strength of everything you've experienced, everything that you've processed, and you're taking this into the future. And you're finally at that place that you're rebuilding, you know who you are, and you're able to grow within that, okay? Card number 4, the fortune meets opportunity. I like this, the black card. The fortune meets opportunity card, okay? Card number 4 really is coming down to, guess what, guys? It's happening. It's happening. Opportunities are all around you. Things are happening. Things are saying, hey, we're here. It's time to say yes. This is your time again. So trust me, if you pick number 4, this is where I'm telling you opportunity is meeting. It's time to, it's been knocking. It's time for you to open the door and walk through. And card number 5, risk and reward. Risk and reward. Oh my God, what a hard card to digest. Literally. Risk and reward. Okay, this is going to kind of go off that opportunity card a little bit. Why? Because there's very few things in this life that you do that you get great rewards that you don't go put some sort of a risk involved with it. Okay, I mean, think about it. If you buy a house, you're putting up a lot of risk to buy a house, but to have all the benefits of owning that house, look at the reward, and you get some money down into it, and then all of a sudden it's worth more in the long run. And everything you do in life is going to have some risks involved. Everything is going to have some risks. But with that, you're going to have reward with it, okay? You're going to have reward, okay? So trust me, that's an amazing card. Card number 1 was that hearth. It's a happiness of the hearts in your homes. It starts here at midnight. It was card number 2. And it's really, it's your time is now to get started. Card number 3 is the strength card. You know what? Everything is pulled together. You are a very strong person and you're ready to walk into your future. Card number 4 is that fortune meets opportunity. It says that the opportunity is right there. You need to knock. It's knocking. You just need to answer. And card number 5 is that risks and reward. You need to take risks to have some reward, guys. And Tim, oh my gosh, it's okay you're late, darling. It's okay. Isn't it great that this is on replay? And I love the fact you've had a strangely busy day. That's awesome. That's awesome. I'm glad, Lori, you love the cards today. I love that. And hopefully they all made sense to everybody. Now, guys, I hate to tell you this. I'm going to be going over the list of shows really quick. Awesome. Yeah, they're going to get changed later on this week, darling. So literally, I'm going to go over these and then we're going to jump off just because circumstances are saying I got to get the heck out of Dodge a little bit quicker than normal. And then we're going to go from there. But I do want to go over the list of shows because I got the new updated shows and we got a lot of, oh my God, we got so many shows, guys. This is awesome. Monday, as always, is Schooled Thru Spirit with myself. Where's the confirmation card? What confirmation? Oh, you're right. Oh my God. I got called out. Tara's like, I need my confirmation card. You're right, Tara. I'm so naughty. Let's do it. We're going to do it from the Sacred Forest Oracle deck of Denise Lynn. Let's pull it from that card. Let's pull it from that deck, guys. Okay, let's pull this. Confirmation card is all about family. It's all about the family. I like this card. I do like this card because it's bringing together where, you know, when you look at yourself, where is your family at? Where is your family at? Now, your family might be blood. It might be something you married into. It might be your friends. It might be a community, whatever it might be, it's coming together. But kind of look to family to kind of help you with some of this stuff and bring it all together for you. Okay? So there you go, Tara, and everybody else listening for your confirmation card. Oh my God, I cannot believe it. I was in such a hurry to read off the shows. I didn't even bring a second deck out. And again, guys, if my new deck shows up next week, we're using that one. Okay. So, Schooled Thru Spirit Monday mornings, 9 to 11 a.m. Remember, as far as I know, I'm still the only 2-hour show, and we're going to keep it that way for a while. After me is Monday Morning Monsters with Barnaby Jones. He's at noon. Tonight is Be the Change with Christina Bloom at 8 p.m. And then she turns around again at 9 and does the Paranormal Room with Christina Bloom and Logan Jacobson. Tuesdays, we start open with Exploring the Paranormal with Heather Lee at 9 a.m. And just so you know, she is one of Ray's clients, just so you know. Slipstream Shaman with Todd Wilcox is at 12. That's a newer show, guys. Myself and Mike Hatchard, we are doing Unfiltered with DeEtte and Mike at 6 p.m. Tuesday nights. Did you notice that change up? It's permanent, guys. We had so much fun last Tuesday. So much fun changing up with me doing readings and him doing life coaching. And so many people gave us so much amazing feedback. We've switched up. So it is now Unfiltered with DeEtte and Mike at 6 p.m. Moment to Moment with Linda Hope is at 7 p.m. and Paranormal Pete with Pete Orbea is at 10 p.m. Wednesday starts off with our very own Deidre Sanford at Self-Care. What's Paranormal Got to Do with It? At 10 a.m. The Psychic Hour with Kelly Brickle is at 3. See and Beyond with Kelly Eckhart and Cheryl Murphy's at 6. And Missy and Nicole, they're on break right now. We're going to hope they come back. On Thursday mornings, we start with Chat with Charlie with Stephanie Lynn at 9 a.m. The Tyson's Gift podcast with Brandon Wainwright at 6 p.m. Realm of Darkness with Rennie Rodriguez and Ashley Moreno's at 7 p.m. And the Afterlife Chronicles with Nicole Strickland is on at 8 p.m. And Voice of Oneness with Amara Bonet is on 10 p.m. Now, Fridays is, I cannot wait. It is Soul and Synergy Radio with Terry Flick and Danny Loosemore at 10 a.m. starting January 20th. It's my birthday, and you guys know Terry and Danny because they have hosted my show so many times, and you guys love them so much that they're making their own show, and I'm so happy about it. We have got the Psychic Hour reading show with Miss Kelly Brickle at 3 p.m. And if you got your numbers, oh my God, there's nobody better than Kelly. So make sure you don't miss that. She's a phenomenal psychic. Twilight Tonight with Dee Dee Moonflyers at 6 p.m. Newbridge Radio with Kevin Mackey at 7 p.m. Twisted Ascension with Kaden and Alyssa Mask at 8 p.m. and Haunted Voices with Todd Bates and Nicole Strickland at 10 p.m. Oh, that's a lot. That's a lot of breathing. I'll tell you what. Now I want to talk about next week's guest for a moment before I say goodbye here. Before I say goodbye, I gotta get in the right month though. Let's put this out. I'm always a week ahead. Always a week ahead. Mary Jane Brigger. Ooh, Mary Jane Brigger. This lady is phenomenal. God, she's been doing trans mediumship and healing, and just she's just become such a soul sister, so amazing in so many aspects, and I cannot wait to share her with you. So please come on next week and learn about her and just how awesome she is. Okay, you're gonna love her. You're gonna love her. Okay, guys, with that being said, I'm going to let you all go a little bit early tonight. This has been DeEtte here. When is Terry and Danny show again? It is 10 a.m. Friday, starting January 20th. By the way, guys, that's my birthday. I'm going to be 52, January 20th. So on my birthday, when Danny and Terry come on, you got to tell them it's my birthday. That's all I'll know if you guys all watch, because they're going to come back to me and say, how many people had to tell us it was your birthday? Anyway, you guys have a fabulous afternoon, great week. If you're sticking around, I'll see you tomorrow. This is DeEtte here with Schooled Thru Spirit on WLTK-DB.com.
The truth is here and now on WLTK-DB Talk Radio at WLTK-DB.com.